incredibly powerful AoE card, and I really like how the art on it. I'm a huge fan of aesthetics, and I love the art on it. And we're going into game number 1, Tyler versus Dog. Looks like Dog is on the Warlock, and Tyler is on what appears to be an odd Paladin.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Lord Godfrey, but Dog's got the, which is a 7 mana, 4/4, says Battle Cry, deal 2 damage to all other minions, and if any minions are destroyed in that process, you repeat it. So it can chain all the way up and just kill the whole board if there's if there's enough big enough chain. But he's also got Glinda Crowskin, which is a 6 mana 3/7 legendary. It says all your minions have Echo.
Yes, and I was actually looking at this list right now, and it first appears to be a typical Q block. You look at the opening hand, you say, I've seen all these cards before. But then you get into just the bulk of it, and there's Meat Wagon, and there's Summoning Portal, and one of the coolest things that I'm looking at this list and seeing is there's also Gnome-Fratu. What could happen later on in the game is if Summoning Portal comes down with Glinda Crowskin and you make Gnome-Fratu as cheap as possible, you can just fatigue and mill as many cards as possible.
Oh my gosh, you just run them out of cards.
Yes, and exactly. So it's almost like a traditional fatigue Warlock.
Wow, that's crazy. That's really cool.
And I was looking at the list, I was like, why is Meat Wagon in this? Why is Summoning Portal? What does Gnome-Fratu do? And then it just came at me like a train.
Wow, that's really cool. Looking at Tyler's deck, it looks like that he has brought the odd Paladin deck that Dog was talking about. He said he thought it was really strong coming into it, and he's featuring Witch's Cauldron. It's a 3 mana 0/4 minion. It says, after one of your minions dies, add a random shaman spell to your hand. And it doesn't count itself. It says after a minion dies, so the text is no longer in play when that happens. But this deck has been quite formidable in my time against it, and in the couple of games that I played it. It's just got a lot of good stuff.
Yes, the Witch's Cauldron gives it extra value that the deck typically wouldn't have, and the Paladin upgraded hero power is insane. I mean, especially with cards like Corridor Creeper. Now, Corridor Creeper did get a big nerf, making it a 2/5, but a 0-mana 2/5 on turns 4 and 3 is still really, really good.
You're talking about the amount of minions that you can crank out thanks to Baku the Moon Eater. It's a 9 mana 7/8, 7/9?
7/9.
7/9, and it says at the start of the game, if you have only odd cost cards in your deck, you upgrade your hero power. And so for Paladin, that means that the hero power goes from making 1 Silverhand recruit to making 2 Silverhand recruits instead. That's a lot of minions that you can fuel through Witch's Cauldron and into a Corridor Creeper.
And one of the traditional ways to
slams the Meat Wagon.
You might as well.
And look at Tyler. He's laughing about it. Dog looks like all business, though. He's like, oh, this Meat Wagon's going to get you.
Tyler's trying to figure out what that summons right now. Does it summon a Doomsayer? Does it summon a Summoning Portal?
I
you never know.
ever want to kill cards that do stuff like this. It always feels so scary. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's very scary, especially when you don't, especially this early on the expansion. Maybe there's a card you're forgetting about that could be so absurd when this Meat Wagon dies that you just don't want to face it.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if he doesn't know that there's a Summoning Portal combo, you know, of course, in this game, that doesn't look like it's likely to be relevant. But here, you're thinking, what if he buffs the Meat Wagon? What if he buffs the Meat Wagon and gets something bigger and I don't expect him to get that?
Yeah, you don't know what's coming out of the wagon. He's just kind of showing up and
cranking out shaman spells too. That cauldron's
exactly.
brewing up.
That cauldron is on fire right now, literally and figuratively. Literally. How many spells is that? That's 5 spells so far, with the potential for more.
That's crazy. And shaman spells are pretty darn good. I mean, a lot of them are some misses in there, but when they're basically free. It's way different. I mean, Frost Shock suddenly becomes a pretty good card if you're just able to just have it. You don't have to put it in your deck. You just start drawing them.
Yeah, and the Shaman spells are also very versatile. The Shaman spells, they range from spot removal to AoE to just, even stall effects like Frost Shock. And, this Defile comes out, that Tyler's hand is going to be instantly full. And there's nothing much he can do about it.
Yeah, that's something else, though, to think about from a liability perspective, is that the Cauldron can just fill up your hand. You end up burning a card. Say he burns one of those key cards, and he's like, Totemic Might's why?
Yeah, I would rather have the cards from the Odd Paladin, the Odd Cost Paladin deck than the Totemic Might.
If you had to choose one of the two, yeah.
Unless you get Primal Talismans. Then you get Primal Talismans, and you play it on this board state, and then you Totemic Might. Now, that's fancy.
Now you're thinking.
Now we're next level.
This is why we got Dr. J on the desk. He's always thinking one step ahead.
So it looks like the summoning portal is going to come out. And here's... Unfortunately, Glenda's not on the board right now.
Yeah,
but
summoning portal does reduce it to a minimum of 1. So you can't just mill their whole deck.
using the cube on the summoning portal.
Oh, that's quite smart. So now, because he's under some pressure, but he doesn't feel like he's just going to outright die from this. And so if he's able to get through this turn, but that means that Void Lord's going to cost 5 mana next turn. So if he sets up Defile, his cube can die, and then he can play a 5-cost Void Lord afterwards.
Void Lord. Who needs Lackey? Who needs Lackey Dark Pack when you can just play the Void Lord on turn 5 anyways?
You just summon it. You just carnivorous cube your own summoning portal, kill your own carnivorous cube, and then have Void Lord in your hand. Way easier.
Unfortunately for Dog, there is this shaman spell known as Hex, and that's looking pretty juicy on the cube right now.
You know, I mean, but I mean, how often are you like 2 summoning portals? Wow, that's really scary. Here's the thing: if my opponent plays something weird, I tend to just get rid of it. I'm like, I don't know why he's got that weird thing, but he's got it for a reason, and I don't want to figure out what that is.
Yeah, you never really want to know, especially when you've never seen the deck before, and you're just trying to work it out in your head. What is Dog up to?
Yes, exactly. And I don't want to know what he's up to, because that probably means something bad for me right now.
Oh, not getting the shaman spell from that Witch's Cauldron. Wondering if Tyler was trying to set that up in a way that he didn't burn a card from his deck in the trades, but I think he's going to ultimately end up doing that. And Ice Fishing, I don't think that's too good for the Odd Paladin.
If you have Murlocs, yeah, but there's not really any Murlocs in here, I don't think. But you know, Dog's still under some pressure here.
And Soul of the Gorgon is another card that just works beautifully with Glenda Krosian.
He's just gonna play it. He's just looking at it. He's like, just. It's like, yeah, I think I just gotta.
Holding on to both of these Defiles, trying to figure out when is the optimal time to use them. I mean, a lot of the Shaman cards currently in the hand aren't the greatest. Frost Shocks are okay. Feral Spirit's probably the best one in the hand currently, but Totemic Might and Ice Fishing are just dead cards.
Yeah, I mean, the big one to look at for me is that he's got to, you know, he's just got to get through Dog's life total. And Dog is pretty much dedicating himself to just trying to stay alive as long as he can and really make the most of it. So while he's on pretty slow playing himself, you know, Tyler doesn't really have a way to punish Dog for not having checked his board state.
No, I mean, it's a fairly weak board state right now, but Tyler's going to look to change that, playing the Hench Clan Thug and the Sacred Maul, giving everything taunt, just pushing as much damage as possible currently. But Void Lord's coming down soon, though.
Yeah, it is. 3 mana, 3/3. It says after your hero attacks, gain +1/+1.
Yes, that is Hench Clan Thug. That is a lot of players are saying that was going to be a really good card. And
Shock him for 1.
trying to get rid of as many cards from the hand as possible before this Defile comes down.
He's like, free damage. Why not? I got 1 mana left over.
Tapping, looking for something. The Voodoo Doll does help a little bit.
Yeah.
It does help clear the Hench Clan Thug.
It's just such a beautiful card to add to this deck, too.
Oh, I love it.
Because he doesn't necessarily even need to Defile here. I mean, he could just use the other Dark Pact. I mean, I think he should Defile.
I think he should as well.
Starting to get to those kind of scary turns where you really don't want to find out what your opponent has. Earth Shock.
Earth Shock. I was going to say that one of the ways that the Odd Cost Paladin...
Look how many cards he just drew.
So many. One of the ways the Odd Cost Paladin deck can actually get through the Void Lords is some of them run a copy of Ironbeak Owl or 2 Ironbeak Owls, and Tyler's running 2 Ironbeak Owls.
Did you see that Sword of Justice that he just burned?
I did.
Sword of Justice? I can't remember the last time I played with that card. But when you're making 2 Silverhand Recruits at a time instead of 1, and it's an odd cost card, it makes sense. So Earth and Might, +2/+2. If it's played on an elemental, add a random elemental to your hand.
Very strong with Firefly.
Nice little,
Nice
little utility card that Shaman picked up there for elemental shamans.
And this Witch's Cauldron is getting them.
And I'll tell you what, you know, Dog's got to be a little bit afraid of Earthshock, but I don't think he's necessarily thinking about that. Yeah, sometimes you go fishing, you don't catch anything, and it happens.
Especially ice fishing. You know, all the Murlocs are frozen right now.
Oh my, that's not good when you have both Void Lords already in your hand.
No, I don't believe that summons anything because I believe Doomguard had to be cut from the list in order to make room for the wacky combos. And I mean,
the Wacky Wagon.
The Wacky Wagon Crowskin. Wacky Wagon Burn. I mean, the most Dog can really do right now is try and clean up the board with a Defile play or coin out a Void Lord. I wouldn't mind seeing the Defile play because Dog knows that the majority of Tyler's hand is Shaman spells. A lot of Shaman
look at
spells.
this. So he can discover a demon from that, and then, oh, that's right, it's from your deck, not from your hand. Why was I thinking it's from your hand? I'm thinking Skull Minari on that one. I believe that's going to do it. Oh, no, not quite.
If there's a Shaman spell. Stormwind Champion, I don't think that does it.
No,
Is there
it's
enough
not
damage
enough.
anywhere? Blazing.
Discover a was that
It's
discover a
Battle Cry? Yes,
Yeah.
Blazing Invocation. 1 mana Discover a Battle Cry for Shaman.
That will discover Paladin Battle Cries and Neutral Battle Cries because it's in a Paladin
Yes,
class.
you can find Life Drinker.
It's a true story.
That is burn name. You find what's the 5 mana 4/4? I'm drawing a blank on it.
Nightblade.
Nightblade.
Battle Cries deal 3.
I mean, why not at this point? Every little damage matters, Admirable. I'm waiting for Nightblade to see competitive play.
I think it's a matter of time.
We're just a couple expansions away.
Yeah, good old Vine Cleaver. Just make some dudes and hit them.
Unfortunately for Dog, there's really no way he can play around this Earthshock unless he goes Void Lord, coin, Dark Pact, and gets the 1/3s.
I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about, but I think he might have to do it just to, try to stay
I think he
alive
has
the
to do it
best.
too.
That's a lot of Shaman cards that Tyler's drawing. If he's got another Hex, if he's got Earthshock.
Hex, Earthshock. I'm trying to think if there's Devolve is no longer in rotation.
That's right.
So Devolve is not an answer anymore. But I mean, this is still the safer play. You gain 8 health. You play around those Shaman cards, and you get the 1/3s, which is gonna be hard for Tyler to get through anyways.
Unless you just, happen to Lightning Storm really well. So I'm trying to look at, is this enough damage? He can push through 1, 2 of them and have 8 damage left over. So he's just a little bit off unless...
There is a Stormwind Champion.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I think that might be lethal.
He'd have to get a savage Lightning Storm, I think.
Let's see. If all of them roll 2, there would be 9 damage push. Only one of them needs to roll 3.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, needs one
Only
of them to
1
roll
3.
So does that mean he can just Earthshock instead? Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Earthshock and Crushing Hand, and
Yep.
that is lethal.
Just Crushing Hand.
Didn't even need a Lightning
Animation
Storm.
of that's so good.
Just comes in and punches little Voidwalker. Little Voidwalker was minding his own business, just trying to protect Gul'dan, and the Crushing Hand just said no.
Witch's Cauldron doing work for the
Yes.
Odd Paladin. Odd Cost Paladin. Getting it done. Meatwagon is going to have to stay by the wayside and try to Glinda Crowskin later on.
Why would you want a 4